So today, we have Maelys the Monstrous Blackfyre taking on Sandok the Shadow, taking on the Mountain Sir Gregor Clegane. Who wins? Let's find out. Sandok the Shadow was a giant of a man. He stood nearly 7 feet tall and was massively built with a severely disfigured face. He was a veteran pet fighter with 100 wins to his name before going into service for Lady Lara of Lys, who was wife of King Aegon III Targaryen. He could literally crush bone with his bare hands and slice people in half with ease. He carried a Valyrian steel eric and a tall black shield made of nightwood, boiled hide, and iron. He infamously slayed Sir Amory Peake of the Kingsguard and a dozen guards on the drawbridge of Maegor's Holdfast as he protected King Aegon and Prince Viserys. He was literally a one-man army. Maelys Blackfyre was the last male of House Blackfyre and led the last Blackfyre rebellion. He was better known as Maelys the Monstrous because of how he looked. He was born with a second head sprouting from his neck, no bigger than a child's fist. He stood 7 feet tall and had grotesquely huge arms and torso and had inhuman strength as he killed a horse with one punch, a full-grown horse with one punch, and then proceeded to rip his cousin's head off with his bare hands, his cousin Damon's head clean off with his bare hands. He was also very savage and brutal in combat. And after doing that to his cousin, he assumed command of the Golden Company. He then founded the Band of Nine with 8 other outlaws, exiles, and sellswords, captains who agreed to help him take the Iron Throne. Together, they took Tyrosh and then conquered the Stepstones. At the start of the War of the Ninepenny Kings, Maelys personally killed Lord Ormond Baratheon, who was King Jaehaerys' hand. But by the end of the war, he was killed by a young Barristan Selmy. Sir Gregor Clegane, also known as the Mountain or the Mountain Who Rides, because he was an absolute unit. He stood 8 feet tall and was as strong as a freaking ox. He wielded a 6-foot long sword with ease, moved around just fine in full plate armor, nearly decapitated a horse with one swing of his sword. He's crushed skulls with his bare hands, and he sliced armored men in half. He wore full heavy plate armor, which is the most protective armor in the realm, as it only has a few weak areas that normal blades and arrows can pierce. Bronn also said that he was fast for his size. He's also just a monster, a complete psychopath that enjoys brutalizing people with no remorse or mercy. He's also received the equivalent of a knight's training, with his style focusing on his size and power. He killed Oberyn Martell in a trial by combat, one of the most lethal warriors in the world. He was one of the most widely feared men on the continent. So, who wins? Well, something that they all have in common is that they're all giants of men. All 3 of them are at least 7 feet tall and just massively built. Very strong and very big. Gregor is taller than both Sandok and Maelys, though. He is taller. All 3, in terms of skill, it's hard to say as each of them utilize their size and power very well, and they all come from different backgrounds. Like Maelys Blackfyre received the best training one can get within the Golden Company. Gregor received the training of a knight, and Sandoq learned how to fight in the fighting pits of Meereen. Maelys ripped his cousin's head off and bested and killed Ormond Baratheon. Gregor could match his brother Sandor, killed Oberyn Martell in a trial by combat, and he was known for slicing armored knights in half. And Sandoq won 100 fights in the fighting pits of Meereen, and he single-handedly slayed Sir Armory Peak of the Kingsguard and a dozen guardsmen. And yeah, all of them very skilled with how they fight. An advantage that Gregor and Maelys have is that they are both downright psychotic. Both of them are just monsters, especially the Mountain. But what Sandoq has over the other two is a Valyrian steel weapon. It's lighter, stronger, tougher, and sharper than the weapons that Gregor and Maelys have. Even Gregor's armor, the plate armor he wears, won't be able to withstand a direct hit from it. It will be able to pierce through it no matter how tough and heavy it is. And with that being said, I think I have to side with Sandoq here. Having a Valyrian steel weapon is a massive advantage, and he's big and skilled enough to contend with Maelys and Sir Gregor. At the end of the day, I'm siding with Sandoq here. He knows what he's doing with that blade, and honestly, ferocity and brutality and psychopathy when it comes to dueling with swords, it's kind of a non-factor when the other guy can match you with strength. Yeah, I'm siding with Sandok the Shadow here. Sandok the Shadow wins after a great fight. Like and subscribe if you did enjoy. Leave a comment of what you thought, and hit the notification bell to be notified of all my future videos and all the great stuff. I truly do appreciate it, and I hope you guys have a great day. Peace!